Hello, everyone. My name is Mogan with the IADT Business Society, and I'm here with Paul Swift from Bank of Ireland. So, can you tell us about what role do you have in Bank of Ireland and what a normal day looks like for you?
I'm part of the sectors team on. There's 8 of us, and we come from various sectors, anything from healthcare to motor and food and agri, etc. So we're all hired in from industry, where I suppose we're seen as a differentiator for the bank because we bring our industry experience in terms of how we, I suppose, work with our colleagues in terms of assessing applications, etc. In my role, I'm the head of technology, media and telecoms. Very much, again, similar as what I've said, it's about bringing that specialist knowledge from my experience of working in the sector to enable, I suppose, our colleagues when we're actually looking at companies who are looking to access debt, to understand the business models, the nuances of the business models, understand how they make money, how they generate revenue, because our colleagues on the, in terms of who deal day to day, they could be meeting, it could be a publican in the morning, obviously before COVID, when they were out and about, but still they'll be meeting customers and they meet for various sectors. So we bring in that specific knowledge of our specific sectors, and we bring kind of very much around the commercial insights in terms of so that we can get get a better understanding of the businesses and identify opportunities and threats as well. And most of all, I suppose, from a banking point of view, understand what risks could be there as part, when we're actually assessing companies. In terms of what a day looks like, there's no 2 days are ever the same, really. You could be, from my point of view, I cover, as I say, tech, media and telecom. So, you could be working with a software company and that's growing, maybe wants to expand into new markets. You need to get behind the models of that. Similar, you could be looking at an e-commerce business, which is a different type of business model, or even an animation business that I cover as well, and even down to similar things like businesses such as internet service providers or telcos. So it's a broad array of businesses. It's always very interesting. You're always learning new things. Every day is a school day in my job, really, I suppose, and it's fascinating. I suppose I'm very passionate about my sector, right? So I'm very interested in talking to the companies and the entrepreneurs that I meet every day and hearing the stories and learning more about their businesses, and obviously then I suppose adding that value for the business and for the bank most specifically in understanding those businesses so we can make better and more informed decisions.
Did you always want to be involved in this sector of business, or were you involved in any other sectors over the past years in your career?
I didn't plan as such to work in the tech sector. I've always, I suppose, seen technology as an enabler. I've always been interested in technology insofar as, I look at it as kind of something that solves problems or removes headaches. So I've always been interested, I suppose, and I'm very much passionate about, I suppose, about innovation. So from that point of view, I suppose it kind of I suppose I moved into this sector because through my career, I'm in it now, I suppose, about 16 years now, and I would have mentored startups, worked with scaling businesses, and obviously worked with multinationals as well.
The tech side of business had came on leaps and bounds in the last number of years. How would you say businesses have thrived during these times?
Certainly digital enabled businesses, probably one of the ones that were least affected, I suppose, if we look at the pandemic over last year. But we've been on this kind of digital journey for some time now. And I think if you look at, I suppose, how we live our lives very much through mobile now, we want kind of whatever we want, be it products or services, kind of anytime, any place, anywhere at a device we're choosing, but predominantly through mobile. That in itself has very much generated, I suppose, has driven it very much, accelerated the move to digital. But also, as I say, the pandemic over the last 12 months is very much for companies, a lot of companies, sadly, who wouldn't have had online or at least kind of, internet capability, or at least in terms of e-commerce capability, have had to, I suppose, migrate quickly. But those, again, who are already on the journey and had been doing so, I suppose, really kind of flourished, and they were the ones probably to thrive because they already had the capabilities, in situ. But I think very much cloud technology, really, I suppose, and internet enabled, I suppose that's been the big thing, really, that's enabled those businesses who are doing that. Because while there might have been talk, or at least some trepidation about cloud technology for some time, most people, as I say, I've often said, your cloud technologies are around a long time. Most people's first exposure to it would have been the like of Yahoo Mail in the days of Yahoo and Hotmail or Gmail or whatever else, in terms of being access to your email anywhere in the world, really, and whatever files, etc., you would have had, as far as your Gmail, etc.
The business world has been a very competitive market to secure a job role in. What advice would you say to graduates who may be interested in this side of business and taking up a role in the sector?
Well, I suppose from a technology or on any sector, really, I suppose like I would say the tech sector is very exciting, right? And I'm very passionate about it. I think for me, really, any job is about passion and purpose. Really, I think that's a huge part of kind of even maybe graduates now looking, to kind of to enter the job or the workforce over the next 12 months. To me, it's very much about being driven by what you enjoy doing every day. I think it's really important. There's often phrase you might have heard, like, you find the job you love and you never work a day in your life. And I think that's fundamentally, to me, is what it's about. And sometimes it's very hard to find out what is your passion and what is your purpose. And over time you learn, insofar as, because things that you really enjoy doing are, I suppose, where you're kind of doing work that you really get a kick out of every day. That for me is really the hugely important. I think certainly if you're looking at companies, and certainly in the tech space, because you hear lots of times the various perks and the lifestyle that kind of goes with it, because there's lots of kind of events. Now, obviously, I'm talking both, there's lots of virtual events that have taken place over the last 12 months. But
if you could give any one piece of advice to a young person finding their feet in the world of business, what would it be?
I think smile is hugely important. I think honesty is hugely important. I think as well, it's actually, and having respect, I suppose, really, they're kind of, I suppose, key things from my point of view. But there's so much you could say, like, it's really about, it's all about, I know people say it's, it's a journey, but it really is, and it's about experiences. I think it's hugely important to be curious as well, but also be humble to know when you don't know something, put your hand up and say, because invariably, when you ask a question, it shows that you're interested and you want to know more. So, but definitely, I think just on a part, I think the certain, the soft skills really of, as I say, being smiling and being, open in terms of certainly having respect for your co-workers. I think those things are hugely important. You give respect, you get respect. And if that's kind of, you're led by an integrity, most of all, if you're led by that in terms of your moral compass, you won't go too far wrong. That's just sound like I'm an old person, but I just think that to me is what's hugely important,
All right. Thanks a million again, Paul.
Welcome. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video from the IADT Business Society, we strongly recommend you check out our other videos on the YouTube channel, and maybe check out our other social media pages. Thank you, and stay safe.